Putrada Ekadashi. The pious and saintly Yudhishthir Maharaj said, O Lord, you have so nicely explained to us the wonderful glories of the Shukla Ekadashi, which occurs during the dark fortnight, Krishna Paksha. Now please be merciful to me and explain to me the details of Ekadashi that occurs in the light fortnight, Shukla Paksha, of this month. What is its name? And what deity is to be worshipped on the sacred day? O Purushottama, O Rishikesh, please also tell me how you can be pleased on this day. Lord Krishna then replied, O saintly king, for the benefit of all humanity, I shall now tell you how to observe fasting on the Pausha Shukla Ekadashi. As previously explained, everyone should observe the rules and regulations of the Ekadashi Vrata to the very best of their ability. This injunction also applies to the Ekadashi named Putrada, which destroys all sins and elevates one to the spiritual adore. The Supreme Personality of Godhead Sri Narayana, the original personality, is the worshipable deity of the Ekadashi. And for his faithful devotees, he happily fulfills all desires and awards full perfection. Thus, among all the animate and inanimate belongs in their three worlds, lower, middle, and higher planetary systems. There is no better personality than Lord Narayana. O King, now I shall narrate to you the history of Putrada Ekadashi, which removes all kind of sins and makes one famous and learned. There was once a kingdom named Bhadravati, which was ruled by King Suketuman. His queen was the famous Shepya. Because he had no son, he spent a long time in anxiety, thinking, if I have no son, who will carry on my dynasty? In this way, the king meditated in a religious attitude for a very long time, thinking, where should I go? What should I do? How can I get a pious son? In this way, King Suketuman could find no happiness anywhere in his kingdom, not even his own palace, and soon he was spending more and more time inside his wife's palace, glooming thinking only of how he could get a son. Thus both King Suketuman and Queen Shebya were in great distress, even when they offered tarpana, means oblations of water, to their forefather. Their mutual misery made them think that it was as undrinkable as boiling water. They thus thought that they would have no descendants to offer tarpana to them when they died, and thus become lost souls like ghosts. The king and queen were specially upset to learn that their forefathers were worried that soon there would be no one to offer them tarpana also. After learning of their forefathers' unhappiness, the king and queen become more and more miserable. And neither ministers, nor friends, nor even loved ones could cheer them up. To the king, his elephants and horses and infantry were no solace, and at last he became practically inert and helpless. The king thought to himself, it is said that without a son, marriage is wasted. Indeed, for a family man with no son, both his heart and his splendid house remain vacant and miserable. Bereft of a son, a man cannot liquidate the debts that he owes his forefathers, the demigods, and to other human beings. Therefore, every married man should endeavor to beget a son. Thus, he will become famous within this world and at last attain the auspicious celestial realms. A son is proof of the pious activities a man performed in his past 100 lifetimes, and such a person achieves a long duration of life in this world, along with good health and great wealth. Possessing son and grandsons in this lifetime proves that one has worshipped Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in the past. The great blessings of sons, wealth, and sharp intelligence can be achieved only by worshipping the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. Suffering such constant anxiety and apprehension, King Suketuman decided to end his misery by committing suicide. But he realized that suicide throws a person into hellish conditions of rebirth, and so he abandoned that idea, seeing that he was gradually destroying himself by his all consuming anxiety over the lack of a son. The king at last mounted his horse and left for the dense forest alone. No one, not even the priests and the Brahmins of this palace, knew where he had gone. In this forest, which was filled with deer and birds and other animals, King Suketuman wandered aimlessly. Nothing, all the different kind of trees and shrubs, all were beautifully decorated with fruits and flowers. He saw deers, tigers, wild boars, and many more. Beholding all these animals accompanied by their mates and offspring, the king remembered his own menagerie, especially his palace elephants, and became so sad that he absent-mindedly wandered into their very midst. Suddenly the king heard a jackal howl in the distance. Startled, he began wandering about, looking around in all directions. Soon it was midday, and the king started to tire. He was tormented by hunger and thirst also. He thought, what sinful deed could possibly have done so that I am now forced to suffer like this, with my throat parched and burning, and my stomach empty and rumbling? I have pleased the Devas with numerous fire sacrifices and abundant devotional worship. I have given many gifts and delicious sweets in charity to all the worthy Brahmins too, and I have taken care of my subjects as though they were my very own children. Why then am I suffering so? What unknown sins have come to bear fruit and torment me in this dreadful way? Absorbed in these thoughts, King Suketuman struggled forward, and eventually, due to his pious credits, he came upon a beautiful lotus-bearing pond that resembled Focus Lake Mansarovara. It was filled with aquatics, including crocodiles and many varieties of fish, and graced with varieties of lilies and lotuses. The beautiful lotuses has opened to the sun and swans. Cranes and ducks swam happily in its water. Nearby were many attractive ashramas where they resided many saints and sages who could fulfill the desires of anyone. Indeed, they wished everyone well. When the king saw all this, his right arm and right eye began to quiver, a sukuna sign for a male that something auspicious was about to happen. As the king dismounted his horse and stood before the sages who sat on the shore of the pond, he saw that they were chanting the holy names of God on japa beads. The king paid his obeisances and, joining his palms, addressed them with glorified praises. Observing the respect the king offered them, the sages said, "We are very pleased with you, O king. Kindly tell us why you have come here. What is on your mind? Please inform us what is your heart's desire." The king replied, "O great sages, who are you? What are your names? Surely your presence reveals that you are auspicious saints. Why have you come to this beautiful place? Please tell me everything." The sages replied, "O king, we are known as the 10 Vishwadevas, the son of Vishwa, Vasu, Satya, Kratu, Daksha, Kala, Kama, Driti, Purvava, Madrava, and Kuru. We have come here to this lovely pond to bathe. The month of Magh will soon be here in 5 days, and today is the famous Putrada Ekadashi. One who desires a son should strictly observe this particular Ekadashi." The king said, "I have tried so hard to have a son. If you great sages are pleased with me, kindly grant the boon of having a good son." The very meaning of Putrada, the sages replied, is giver of a putra, pious son. So please observe a complete fast on this Ekadashi day. If you do so, then by our blessings and by the mercy of Lord Sri Keshava, surely you will obtain a son. On the advice of Vishwadevas, the king observed the auspicious fast day of Putrada Ekadashi according to established rules and regulations. And on the Dwadashi, after breaking his fast, he paid obeisances again and again to all of them. Soon after, Suketuman returned to his palace and, united with his queen, Queen Shabya, immediately became pregnant. And exactly as the Vishwadevas had predicted, a bright-faced, beautiful son was born to them. In due course of time, he became famous as an heroic prince, and the king gladly pleased his noble son by making him the successor. The son of Suketuman took care of his subjects very honestly, just as if they were his own children. In conclusion, O Yudhishthira, one who wishes to fulfill his desire should strictly observe Putrada Ekadashi. While on this planet, one who strictly observes this Ekadashi will surely obtain a son, and after his death, he will achieve liberation. Anyone who even reads or hears the glories of Putrada Ekadashi obtains the merit earned by performing an horse sacrifice. It is to benefit all humanity, and that I have explained all this to you. Thus ends the narration of glories of Pausha Shukla Ekadashi or Putrada Ekadashi from the Bhavishya Puran of Vedavyas. So if you like this video, do like, comment and share this video. And do not forget to subscribe to our channel for more such videos. So thank you for watching. Hare Krishna.